are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am down and on my knees and I may fall as I'm so close to the end.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dugout Football channel. It is match week number 4 of the 23-24 Premier League season, and if we have anything like we did in match week 3, drama, goals, red cards, last minute goals, I'm pretty sure we'll get a very, very good week as well. But remember to leave your predictions in the comment section down below, and we'll go through how everyone did last week. Well, I got 9 points. Seems to be a bit of a running theme, actually. I had one perfect score. Wolves to beat Everton by 1-0. But for the third consecutive week, Nathan Morgan, you've done it again, my friend. 11 points. Very, very well done. You were the highest scorer in the comments section as well. But let us start off with match week number 4. Obviously, the biggest game, I would say, is that classic fixture, Manchester United Arsenal at the Emirates. Should be very, very interesting as well. But let us get into the Friday night game. And for the first time, we have Premier League football at Kenilworth Road. Luton Town against West Ham United. I have to say, Luton Town were all right against Chelsea. I mean, they had chances. They had chances to sort of get back into the game. But I do have to say that I think in the end Chelsea dominated. They did kind of dominate as well. But Luton Town were in the game. I think Rob Edwards will be pleased with that. And now, obviously, in front of their home fans, they can sort of build on that and try and get a goal and maybe try get a win. More points that they get between now and the end of the season will be very, very interesting, I think, for Luton Town, to say the very, very least. But if you think that West Ham, people said West Ham are going to struggle this season. Well, so far, it's been actually pretty good. I mean, a win against Chelsea, and for the 13th time, lucky 13 for them, they have managed to beat Brighton by 3-1. And I'm going to say this now. Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, Mohamed Kudus is coming in there as well. They've got Mavropanos. That is not bad at all. And they've had to rebuild, it's been basically a big midfield rebuild almost for West Ham. And I have to say, I think West Ham are looking really, really good. Bowen, Antonio, very, very good, to say the very least. And obviously Ward-Prowse got his goal, didn't he? It was great to see. But it's a tricky one because obviously West Ham have had a few away games now, and they drew against Bournemouth. They've obviously beaten Brighton, so this is another one. It's a London derby, Friday night under the lights of Kenilworth Road. Luton Town got most of their points last season at Kenilworth Road. But I just think the way West Ham played against Brighton, you have to fancy West Ham. I mean, that game that they actually played against Brighton, they only had 18% possession, which is mad, to say the very least. But I'm going to give West Ham the win here. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory against Luton Town for West Ham. So, there we go. Right, if you thought last week between Everton and Wolves was a 6-pointer, this is definitely a 6-pointer. Sheffield United against Everton. Got to give credit to Sheffield United. They were in the game against Manchester City. The more that went on to 1-0, the more you obviously had a feeling that they would get something potentially from the game, but wasn't to be in the end. But Bogle getting the goal, which was very, very good as well, and obviously Holland missing a penalty as well. But that was not a bad performance for Sheffield United. They gave Manchester City a few problems, I would have to say. But in the end, City did come out winners eventually. But if Sheffield United can play like against the champions of England, then they will do well against an Everton side. I mean, that's the second home game in a row that they've absolutely dominated, and they've come away with nothing. They've come away with nothing. That's 3 defeats in a row now for Sean Dyche. And I've got to be honest, that was 2 poor sides on show there, Everton and Wolves. Everton for sort of goal scoring. Like, they've got Yusuf Trimitri, so he'll come in eventually. They're getting Beto from Udinese, who I think has only scored 9 goals in all comps last season. So you can see where their problem is. It's not keeping out the goals; it's scoring them. And you know what? They're bombing the league. They're bombing the league. 3 defeats and 6 goals conceded. It's not great. It's not a great start for Everton. And people will say, "Well, Everton, look at what they've done. Look at what they've done, sort of in this sort of transfer window." This is a game that they must win. However, it's away from home. Now, if this was at Goodison, I would probably say maybe Everton would probably get the result, but it is away from home. Everton's away form is absolutely shocking, to say the very, very least. And I think I'm going to go for the Blades here. I'm going to go for a very narrow 1-0 win to the Blades, because I've got to say I was not impressed with Everton on their last showing, 4-0 away at Aston Villa. And I just think Saturday lunchtime kickoff, the crowd will be up for it. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Sheffield United. I think if they win that, gets them off the board, it gets them 3 points towards Derby's points total as well. So I'm going to 1-0 to Sheffield United in that one. We have Brentford against Bournemouth now as we move on to the 3 o'clockers. Brentford 1-1 with Crystal Palace. If anyone hasn't seen Kevin Shada's goal for Brentford, please go and watch it. It is an absolute worldie, and it is Brentford's only shot on target in that whole game. It was quite incredible, to say the very, very least. It was their only shot on target in that whole game. And look, I've got to say this now. It was a wonderful finish, jinxing and turning, and I mean the strike is fantastic. It's top bins, top corner. No goalkeeper saving that. Sam Johnson had absolutely no chance in there as well. And in the end, probably a 1-1 draw was very, very fair, because Palace did actually play really, really well in that game. Bournemouth, I like what Areola's doing there. I like what he's doing. He's managing to get them attacking. Semenyo had a good opportunity to score a bit. In the end, I think Tottenham were very, very strong on the day. But I've got to say, the way that Bournemouth are playing at the moment, and they are losing games, but they're not losing by too many. They're keeping themselves in the game, and 1-0 again, 1-0 for Tottenham in that first half. They did actually have chances. They did have chances. But they are going away to the GTEC Community Stadium. It was 3-0 to Brentford last season, and obviously Gary O'Neill was in charge. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Brentford. I think Brentford will be a little bit too strong, especially with Vissa and Mbeumo, who are looking very, very good. And obviously Kevin Shada as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Brentford. And now we have Burnley against Tottenham. Yeah, Burnley 3-1 defeat to Aston Villa. Got to say, Lyle Foster getting their first goal back in the Premier League was very, very good to see. I will say this now. I think that they were unlucky to lose 3-1. Again, another team that you were in the game. I know that Villa did go into a 2-0 lead very, very early on, but to get back to 2-1, it wasn't 3-1 until I think the 79th minute or something like that. So Burnley are doing okay. And look, it's not going to be results against Villa. Not going to be results against the Liverpools of this world, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea's. It's all about in and around them, which is going to be very, very interesting. And of course, you want to win your home games. You want to win your home games, of course. Tottenham. I've got to be honest. I've been very impressed with what Ange Postecoglou's doing over there. James Maddison as well. He's going to be one of the signings of the summer by a long way. He's off the mark as well. Lovely finish into the bottom corner. Man of the match performance as well, you have to say, as well. Tottenham are looking really, really solid, and I like what the two fullbacks are doing. Obviously, we've got Udugi at left back. You obviously got Pedro Porro there as well. And you've also got Romero and Van den Ven, who have looked really, really solid so far. Vicario is looking very, very good as well. This is a very good Tottenham side. And it's a Tottenham side that you'd have to say is not being hampered by Harry Kane now. That they'll probably need to share out the goals, but Tottenham keep doing the way that they're doing. They've got no Europe, so they've no excuses not to do well in this Premier League. I think Tottenham are going to have a good season. How do I see this going? Again, I can only see a Tottenham win. I think Burnley won the last meeting, I think, if memory serves me correctly. But I am going to go for a 2-0 win to Tottenham. I'm going to go for them to win by 2-0. Be interested to see if Richarlison has his boots on the right feet this time, because he was slipping over a lot as well. So we'll wait and see, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Tottenham in that one. And now we have Chelsea against Nottingham Forest. Chelsea 3-0 winners over Luton Town the other night. Raheem Sterling is looking like a very, very good player again, looking like he's back to his former self. And Nicholas Jackson getting his goal as well, which was very, very good to see. But one thing for Chelsea, I'd be very, very concerned. It was 1-0 for a long, long time in that game against Luton. It was 1-0 for a very, very long time in that game. They need to kill teams off. They do need to kill teams off. I think you have to look at what Chelsea did. They should have killed off Liverpool. They didn't. West Ham, they should have killed off in that first half. They were fantastic in that first half at West Ham, and then obviously the second half came and just showed what they were sort of missing. But I thought Enzo Fernandez had a very good game in that midfield, and Gusto at right back. I was very, very impressed with him, and obviously there are sort of now, comparisons towards him and Trent. It's just something that social media fans do, isn't it? But look, I think Chelsea will be very, very good to watch, and I think Poch is going to do a good job there. I think he is going to do a good job there. Nottingham Forest 3-2 defeat to Manchester United. It was going all so well for them when Taiwo Awoniyi scored his in 7 consecutive games for Nottingham Forest. That's a fantastic run. I think it's 9 goals in 7 games as well for the big Nigerian striker. Absolutely amazing. And then Willy Bolly, of all people, getting the second goal. I mean, he didn't really know much about it. It just literally bounces off his face and goes into the back of the net. And then I think Forest fans can. I think I can sort of feel a little bit sorry for them, obviously, about the red card, about McKenna. Sorry, not McKenna. Worrell. Sorry, Worrell. I do think that Willy Bolly isn't getting back. So I do think in that instance, I think it is a red card. The penalty kick, I think it is a penalty, sadly. I do think Rashford does go down very, very easily. But again, he's anticipating the contact. He is anticipating the contact. It's a little bit like the Szoboszlai one last week as well. But look, I'm going to say this now. If Nottingham Forest play like they did away from Old Trafford, they will be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. They're going to Chelsea. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. I'm going to give Chelsea a 2-1 win. I think it will be a very, very narrow game, but I'm going to say this now. I think Awoniyi will score again. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea. And now we have champions Manchester City against Fulham. Yes, City 2-1 win over Sheffield United. And Holland had one of those games where it just wasn't going right for him, was it? Missed the penalty. Obviously, he did get his goal in the end. But wasn't the best performance from Erling Haaland, you'd have to say. Rodri, absolute thunderbolt into the top corner. Yes, people can say it's a toe poke, but it's still a fantastic finish from Rodri. And look, Rodri is just a completely different player when he plays in Manchester City compared to what he does for Spain. Absolutely amazing player as well. Will Jeremy Doku get his debut? That's the interesting thing. Will he get his debut? Be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. But they are back in front of their home fans, and we'll see what will happen. We will see what will happen. Indeed, Fulham 2-2 Arsenal. Very very good result. That very very good result. They did take the lead in the very first minute. Look, whatever you have to say about Ramsdale, it's a fantastic finish from Andreas Pereira. Really, really is. And then Paulinho from a corner, which is very, very good as well. Look, Fulham, I think, will be fine. I think they'll be absolutely fine. I do think they need to add just maybe one or two more to their squad, and then I think they'll be easy to go for. But that was a very good performance at the Emirates as well. Last season, Fulham gave Man City a really hard game. It was only a 2-1 win to Manchester City. I'm going to give City the win. I do think Fulham will score. I do think Fulham will score, especially with threats like Andres Pereira, like Paulinho. I do think they will get a goal, but I'm going to give City a 3-1 win. I think they will just scrape through, but I'll go for a 3-1 win to Manchester City. Brighton Hove Albion against Newcastle United. This is the Saturday tea time game, so it should be another fantastic game. Yeah, Brighton for the second consecutive time being on at 5:30. Well, Brighton they did everything against West Ham but score. I mean, they did score in the end, to say the very, very least, but West Ham picked them off. And again, it goes to show possession doesn't mean anything in a game of football if you don't put the ball in the back of the net. 82% possession that they had against West Ham. West Ham only had 18% possession, if you remember. I've got to say as well that was a bit of a shocking defeat for Brighton. I don't think anyone kind of saw that coming. But back in front of the home fans against Newcastle, it'll be a very interesting one. Newcastle, well, obviously, as people obviously know, that they lost 2-1 to Liverpool yesterday. How they lost that game, I will never know. But I am going to say one thing. Eddie Howe's subs cost him the game. Why are you bringing off Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak on when it is 1-0? Yes, you're playing against 10 men. Yes, you are playing against 10 men. But why bring them off? Why not keep one of them on and then bring Callum Wilson on or something like that? Go for the juggler, go for the second goal. It was incredible, the subs that he made, because Tonali for me was one of the best players on the pitch. Anthony Gordon was one of the best players on the pitch. As on Isaac was giving Liverpool problems. He really was. So that's a bit of an inexperience that Eddie Howe is sort of having to get used to now. And I thought Newcastle they shot themselves in the foot. They should have been out of sight. They should have been out of sight by the second half, but they weren't. And Liverpool came back and won by 2-1. This is an interesting game, this one, because both these sides are on the back of defeats. I don't think there's much to separate Newcastle and Brighton, I've got to be honest. I am actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think this will be a very, very close one, but I'm going to give Brighton and Newcastle a share of the spoils. Now, we have 3 games on Sunday, and the first one of them is Crystal Palace against Wolves. Joachim Andersen getting the equaliser for Palace, which is very, very good to see. Look, as soon as Michael Olise comes back, I think Palace will be a different team. I think they will be a much, much different team to the one that is playing at this moment in time. Again, Eze looked like very, very good as well. And as soon as Edward gets the goals, Palace will definitely be up and running for sure. Wolves, well, Sasa Kaladzic, I think that's how you say it, getting the winning goal. Look, we said it last week. Wolves, the way they played against Manchester United, they should have came away with a win. They got battered by Brighton, but that is a very good win. That is a very, very good win, to say the very, very least. However, Matheus Nunes has now literally refused to train. Now, If I'm Wolves, I'd be getting him off the wage bill ASAP. ASAP for sure. Not good. Not a good look that. Not a good look that at all. So this is at Selhurst Park. Sunday afternoon, never an easy place to go to at the best of times for Palace. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a very narrow 1-0 win to Crystal Palace, to say the very, very least. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Crystal Palace. And now we have Liverpool against Aston Villa. I'm still scratching my head how we managed to win that game yesterday. Absolutely incredible, the way that we won it. Darwin Núñez coming off the bench to get a double as well. I really hope that is the starting of his sort of career, getting back up to grabs for his Liverpool career, because those 2 goals yesterday were Fernando Torres-esque. Just the way he sort of moved his body towards the ball and struck them really, really well as well. Now, obviously, the biggest talking points were obviously from that game. Trent Alexander-Arnold, yes, he should have been sent off. However, that first yellow card does not happen if John Brooks books Anthony Gordon for the push on Trent Alexander-Arnold. So obviously he's retaliated for that. The other thing is, the second one, I think that is a red card. That is a second yellow card. It is a red card. He should have gone. But where would Liverpool be without Alisson Becker? Where would we be without Alisson Becker? That save from Almiron was incredible. Incredible save. So good. So good to see that. But yeah, smash and grab, but we've managed to get a 2-1 win, and against 10 men again. And I've no complaints about the Van Dijk red card. So take your 1-match ban and get out of there. Definitely. Aston Villa 3-1 win over Burnley. My cash double. Yeah. I have to give credit to Aston Villa, because ever since the Newcastle defeat, it has been 4-0 against Everton, 5-0 against the Hibernian, and then 3-1 against Burnley. Very, very good, to say the very least. And yes, my cash could and probably should have got a hat trick, but that would be very, very unfair on me, to say the very, very least. So, as Anfield, you have to fancy Liverpool. You have to fancy Liverpool. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Liverpool. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to the Reds. Yes, Van Dijk is going to be out, so will Gomez come in? I mean, Gomez did play very, very well at Newcastle, but we'll wait and see. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Liverpool. Might be a bit optimistic, especially with the way that Liverpool are playing at this moment in time defensively, but I am going to go for a 2-0 win to Liverpool. And last but not least, we have Arsenal against Manchester United, one of the classic fixtures in Premier League history. Arsenal 2-2 with Fulham. Now, what I'm going to say is, Arteta had such a stable team last season. You had obviously Ben White, you had Saliba, you had Gabriel, and it was either a Tierney or a Zinchenko. Why is he experimenting Thomas Partey right back? Is it to get Kai Havertz in? Because if I'm being honest, Thomas Partey right back does not work. Ben White at centre back does not work. Why is he tinkering so much? Why is he tinkering so much? Look, Kai Havertz, for me, was never a signing that they needed. Never a signing that they needed. I don't know why they've gone out and spent 65 million quid on him, to say the very, very least. But Arsenal are tinkering too much. They are tinkering too much. So look, Gabriel Jesus is back, which is amazing to see. If Arteta gets his team right, then I think, against Manchester United is going to be very, very interesting, to say the very, very least, because we know how bad Manchester United's away form is. And look, United were lucky. They were lucky against Forest. They really, really were. Again, the midfield's getting overran again. Look, how many times are we going to say this? Fernandes, Casemiro, and obviously it was Eriksen as well. But you look at that first goal. Nottingham Forest walked through Manchester United. They walked through Manchester United. And look, Rashford playing on the left definitely worked. It definitely worked. Anthony Martial get him out of the club as soon as possible. He is a waste of time. What did he actually do in that game? As soon as Højlund is fit, and we might see Højlund for this game, but the way I see it, the way the Manchester United are playing at this moment, they haven't looked convincing. But then again, neither have Arsenal. So you have to say it's probably two unconvincing sides that are meeting at the Emirates at the weekend. How do I see it going? It finished 3-2 to Arsenal last season. I am going to say, Man United's away form is not great, but they've always got a threat about them. However, Man United defensively are a shambles. They're an absolute shambles at this moment in time. And again, I think Arsenal will win this one. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Arsenal. So there we go, folks. That is my Matchweek Premier League 4 predictions. And I will give you a recap of my predictions as they are going up across the bottom of your screen. So we've gone for Luton Town 0, West Ham United 2, Sheffield United 1, Everton 0, Brentford 2, Bournemouth 0, Burnley 0, Tottenham 2, Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 3, Fulham 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0, Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0, and Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1. So there we go. That is what I think. Let me know what you think. Put your predictions down in the comments section down below. And like Nathan Morgan for the third week in a row, you will get a shout out in the next video. Now, of course, obviously, this is the last match week until the international break. So it will be very, very interesting to see, obviously, internationals as well. So obviously, enjoy international break. Enjoy the football this weekend. Obviously, some big, big games. Obviously, Arsenal against Manchester United, obviously dominating the proceedings as well. We've obviously got the first Premier League clash at Kenilworth Road as well to look forward to. But I really do appreciate everyone who's tuned in and everyone who has commented their predictions lately. I really do appreciate it. But as I said, get your predictions down in the comments section. Join in the fun. And I will see you very, very soon for another Premier League prediction show. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Give me all you've got if you're prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lion.